It's been a tough few days.
It's been a tough few weeks, to be honest. You know, we've worked tirelessly off the field to try and get something out of this series, and you know, every time we've got ourselves into a decent position, we've failed to capitalise. We've come up short on most occasions, and Australia have just outplayed us throughout the series, and it's bitterly disappointing from our point of view, because we came out here thinking that we've got a good chance of causing an upset, but it wasn't to be. And I hope the guys in the dressing room are hurting as much as I am, because it's a horrible feeling when you prepare for a series like this and you lose, and you see the Australians celebrating in the background with the Ashes. And I hope that, yeah, if everyone's feeling like I am, then they'll want to put it right in 2019. Yeah,
and obviously not to put words in your mouth, but it might be the last time you come and try and win the Ashes here, so that's not the way you wanted to finish if it turns out that way.
No, that's not really an issue, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to be coming back as a 39-year-old bowling on these pitches. But yeah, I mean, it was never a sort of any thought in my head that it might be my last test out here. We wanted to win this series. We thought we had a good chance, and we've just not done ourselves justice on the field.
Jimmy, Paul Farbraith last night said the planning for 4 years starts now. You know, today, tomorrow they'll sit down and have a discussion. As a senior bowler, a senior pro, you've just said you're probably not going to be here. What advice would you give England for 4 years to come back with a better chance of winning?
Well, I think it depends on the conditions. If the conditions are like this, then you probably need that X-factor bowler, either a mystery spinner or a guy who can bowl 95 miles an hour. Or you need guys that can just create pressure from both ends. You know, it's quite attritional cricket out here, and as I said before, we've created pressure for little bits, but not done it from both ends for long enough periods. And there's always been a release for the Australian batsmen from one end, whether it's the spinners or whether it's the seamer, not quite, you know, doing their job. So it's a tricky one. And I think, yeah, in 4 years' time, the basics are, you look at the Australians, what they've done this series, they've scored mountains of runs, big hundreds. You know, 60s and 70s aren't going to win you an Ashes series. And they've had all four bowlers take over 20 wickets. And I think when you've got performances like that, then you're going to struggle to compete with that.
I mean, you bowl at the batsman in the nets. Where would you say the problem lies for why our batsmen can't bat for that, you know, 7-8 hours like Steve? I know we don't want to put everyone in Steve Smithy bag, he's a freak at the minute, but why can't we produce batsmen that can bat for that amount of time?
I've not got the answer, mate. I look at the guys in the nets, and they're just as skillful as the Australian batsmen. They look absolutely fantastic in their preparation, everything like that, and it's got to be, as you say, is it concentration out in the middle? You can't just put batsmen in there, bowlers as well. We've done our jobs for periods of the games, but then, you know, whether you're 20, 25 overs deep when it actually matters, can you then perform at your best when you're 25 overs into a test match? That's when it gets hard and when you've got to try and perform.
And Jimmy, you mentioned the conditions. Are you disappointed with the wickets you've had to bowl on? I mean, I certainly would have been.
God, yeah. I mean, they're not what we expected. We thought there might be a little bit more pace in them, but you know, every ground we've been to, it's been exactly the same. And I guess if you look from an Australian point of view, if you've got batsmen in their shed like they have, like Steve Smith, Khawaja, guys like that who can bat for long periods of time, then it's perfect for them against our bowling attack. And similarly with their bowlers, it's really hard to put on a fifth day of a pitch today. Like, I know it didn't last that long, but you know, when it's coming off at different paces, you've got the balls keeping low, it's really hard to come up against a attack like that.
And in state cricket over here, they're going to start to use the Duke ball, or they have done in a couple of games, and they're going to do that even more leading into 2019. What would you think if you said in county cricket or in test cricket, going to the next series down here that used the Kookaburra ball? Do you think that could have any kind of help?
Potentially, yeah, but I mean, everywhere we go in the world, we play with a Kookaburra ball. Like, if we go to the subcontinent, it's generally a Kookaburra. South Africa's a Kookaburra. West Indies might just turn to a Duke, but used to be a Kookaburra. So there's plenty of practice out there with a red Kookaburra. Whether we need to bring that into English conditions, I'm not sure.
What about the creation of a bowler? You've mentioned the X-factor bowler. You've been the only bowler in this series that's averaged under 30 from an England point of view. The others won't be, I'm sure, going home with much satisfaction with how they've bowled, with respect. But how do you find that X-factor bowler? How do you create a bowler that is quick enough?
Well, that's just it. You can't just get in a science lab and create a perfect bowler that's going to bowl 95 miles an hour. The Australians at the minute are blessed with three absolutely fantastic bowlers who can all bowl 90 miles an hour. They all do something with the ball. And at the minute, we're not blessed with that. But I'm sure there's guys coming through. And also the guys have had the experience of playing out here. Guys like Jake Ball, Tom Curran, they can go away and improve themselves. Craig Overton as well. they can go away, take a lot from what they've done in this series. They all bowl well at times, and they can just keep improving. They know what to expect in international cricket now. It's tough, it is hard, and I'm sure they're going to improve as time goes on.
I'm sure you'll want to also acknowledge, as you have done on the stage, the travelling support, not just the Birmingham, but all the England fans, those obviously watching at home as well. They want to believe, don't they? They want something to cling on to at times like this.
Yeah, well, the disappointment and the hurt that we're feeling is not just for ourselves in the dressing room, it's for the people that come out and watch us. They spend their hard-earned money coming to watch us over here for a few weeks, and people at home getting up in the night. I know that there's people with sleep deprivation at home trying to watch us and trying to will us on to win a game of cricket, and we have done our best, and we're disappointed for all those people at home as well as ourselves and the people that have come to see us, but we're hugely grateful for the continued support.
Anything you want to add, Geoffrey?
A lot, but I'd just like to ask one question. Fabrice talks about planning should start now, but who's going to do the planning? Who does he mean? It's all right saying it, it sounds great to all the public, all our viewers. Who the hell's going to do the planning? I mean, you ought to have been planning for this one 2 years ago. So if we're going to start now, but whom? Because we have 18 chairmen, none of them are cricketers, hardly any.
He's in a grumpy mood, Jimmy, as you can
Sounds like it, yeah. I think that's a
tough one.
question for someone above my pay grade, I think.
Yeah, but he shouldn't say it though, Jimmy. He shouldn't just throw it out, we should do some planning. Who does he mean?
Well, the director of cricket, Andrew Strauss, and all the management, they'll be trying to...
Plenty of them around.
Yeah, but they will. They'll be trying to plan. They'll learn from this experience.
Well,
I'm
they
sure.
haven't done a very good job.
Listen, before we let you go, that is a toughie. Let me ask you one that perhaps you can answer, and obviously do pass our best wishes on to Joe for a speedy recovery. How do you go home and lick your wounds and potentially come back stronger for New Zealand and then, of course, an English summer? You've got to pick yourselves up.
That's just it. We've got probably a couple of months now before the New Zealand start part of the winter. Another 2 tough tests for us. They're side in form. Pitches, I imagine, will be very similar to what we've faced out here. So we've got to try and, I guess, a bit of time off trying to let this all sort of sink in or blow over or whatever you want to do as an individual, and then really focus on that New Zealand tour and, try and look at the mistakes we've made here and the good things that we've done and try and improve on those.
Well, listen, we appreciate your time, of course. Do pass on our best to Joe. As the 1 day is before the next test, obviously, series in New Zealand. We'll have all of that on BT Sport. We do appreciate your time, Jim. Thank you very much,
Cheers,
mate.
Thank
you, Jim.
Cheers.
Cheers, James.
Well done, mate.